guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Callie, and today, I know it's a little late, but I'm going to be going through my May TBR. So since we are already about a week into the month, I am just going to start with the books that are next up on my TBR, opposed to the ones that were just at the beginning, because I've already read those, and I always find it weird talking about books that are on my TBR that I've already read. Because that makes no sense to me, because I have to pretend like I don't know the plot, and I don't like doing that. So, all these books are next up on my TBR, starting with Queen's Shadow, there goes my bookmark, by E.K. Johnston. This is next up, which is why I had a bookmark in it. This is a story within the canon Star Wars universe, and this takes place in Padme's perspective in between The Phantom Menace and the Attack of the Clones movies. So I really liked Padme. She's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. I will forever be upset with how they dealt with her character in the third episode movie, however you want to do that. I hated how her character ended up, but I've heard that her in the books is so much truer to her character than what happened in the movies. So, really excited to jump this. I've never actually read a Star Wars canon book since I think I was in 6th grade, where I was obsessed with the Qui-Gon Jinn Chronicles. So, I'm excited to jump back into the Star Wars universe, especially because May the 4th be with you just happened recently, so I've been in kind of a mood to do something Star Warsy. Up next, I have one of my book of the months, and that is The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. And this book follows a girl who is half Reaper, half Shinigami. And she is living in London doing her Reaper duties while also trying to suppress her Shinigami powers. And when her Shinigami powers go out of control, she has to go on the run from this hierarchy of Reapers. I think this is going to be a really unique story. I'm not sure, like, the fact that she's half Reaper, half Shinigami, I'm wondering what those Shinigami powers are. And I don't know, I'm just overall excited to see where this book goes. Please excuse my voice, I'm just getting over getting sick, so it's a little rough around the edges. Up next, I have Truelife by Jay Kristoff. This is the final book in the Lifelike series, where it is a retelling of Anastasia in a futuristic dystopian world where we are following our main character. Eve as she's trying to discover who she really is. In book 2, we actually followed her best friend Lemon Fresh, which was really cool, and I loved seeing Lemon's perspective. So I think this one is going to flip-flop between their two stories, because they do intertwine with each other. Up next, I have Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I've been wanting to read a Mary H.K. Choi book for a while. I know this book and her other book, Yoke, have really good reviews. This is a YA contemporary following two teenagers who use texting each other as a means of a safe space. And I'm intrigued to see how it goes. I think this is going to be less on the lines of a romance and more on the lines of self-discovery and healing, which I tend to lean more towards those kinds of YA contemporary books rather than the romance, because the romance ones are typically just really cringy, and I have a hard time getting through them. So I haven't had really good luck with YA contemporary lately, but I hope that this will solve that problem. Up next, I have another book that's been on my TBR for a long time. That is The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. This is a time travel heist series. I'm very intrigued. Time travel has been a huge thing recently. Outlander's not recently, but I've recently gotten into Outlander, which deals with a lot of time travel. And I've been rewatching a lot of Doctor Who, which is all time travel. So I've been on kind of a kick. And I just read Only a Monster last month, which I was obsessed with, which had time travel as its major element. So I'm excited to see if this gives me the same type of magic that all of those media are giving me. So I'm excited. This book's pretty chunky, but I've heard really good things about this book. I've heard the sequel's not the greatest, but I know that there's like 3 or 4 books in this series, so intrigued to see where this goes. Up next, I have probably the one I'm most excited about on this side of TBR, and that is Redemptor by Jordan Ifueko. I am still obsessed with Ray Bear. I think about it at least twice a day. And I'm really excited to jump into the sequel. This is only a duology, so I don't have to wait for a third book. I can just jump right into Redemptor. And I'm just super pumped. The magic system within this world is one of my favorite magic systems I've ever experienced. The story is so beautifully written, and I'm obsessed with how the magic system works, the characterizations. They're all amazing. And I actually have a really fun story about this actual book. When David and I went to Seattle, I like to travel to little independent bookstores and buy at least one book. I also collect bookmarks from independent bookstores, but I don't like just taking them. I like to at least make a purchase. So I found this book on an island off of Seattle. We took the ferry just because we wanted to take the ferry, and we had no idea what to do. So we looked on Google for different shops, and we found this bookstore. And when I went in, this book was signed by the author in the bookstore. So I immediately gravitated towards it. So I ended up buying this. I got a bookmark. I also bought a bag from this bookstore because it was really cute. I got this on Bainbridge Island off of Seattle. And every time I look at this book, I just think of that was our honeymoon, so I think of that every time I look at it, and I'm really hoping that the inside gives me the same warm and fuzzy feels as when I just look at this book. Up next, I have Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. I haven't heard a ton about this book, and book 3 is about to drop, so I'm really intrigued as to the story. This is a African-inspired story where we are following our main character, who is the child of this long line of witch doctors, but our main character has no magic and decides to try and get magic on her own by making a deal with the Demon King. This sounds like a lot of morally gray characters are going to be present. This sounds like a lot of internal turmoil, which is one of my favorite things to read in books. And I'm just, overall, I want to know more about witch doctors. This sounds so intriguing, and it's been staring at me for months, and I'm really excited to get to it. Up next, I have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've read Beach Read by Emily Henry, and it was okay. I think that book was way too overhyped by the time I read it. But I'm excited to get to this one. I've heard this one's a lot better than Beach Read, where we are following two characters who used to vacation together all the time, or once a year, I think it was. They're opposites attract, and they get into a huge fight in the past and haven't spoken, but now both of them find themselves in a rut in their lives and decide to take one last vacation together. I don't know why that's the plot, but I'm intrigued, and I'm gonna need some romance to break all of this up. Up next, I have Blood Scion by Deborah Falaye. I apologize if I pronounce that wrong. This is the Fairy Loot edition that I literally just got in the mail, and can we talk about my favorite aspect of this book? Ah, look at that. That's so cool. Okay. I've had my eye on this book since the cover dropped, and all I've read is the tagline, and that hooked me immediately. It is, I am a descendant of Shango, the god of heat and fire. I am a living inferno. I am a dead girl walking. That's all I need to know. I don't care anything else. That's all I needed to know. I am super pumped for this book. It's gorgeous. It's got sprayed edges. And I just read another tagline that's on the back of this book. It is, this is what they deserve. They wanted me to be a monster. I'll be the worst monster they ever created. I love that trope where it's, the main character hands back what they have been taught their entire lives back to their oppressors. And I live for it. So, really excited to jump into this book. Last book on this list, I have Songs from the Deep by Kelly Powell. I'm gonna be honest, the only reason I bought this book off of Book Outlet a couple years ago was the word siren was in the description. I didn't read much further. However, this is a story of a human girl who is obsessed with sirens, and she goes to like this cliff and plays her violin with the sirens. Which is a really cool concept in and of itself, but when a boy from her village ends up dead, people start blaming the sirens, but our main character thinks that something else is amiss, and it is the sirens that are being blamed for the murder. And that just sounds like a mermaid siren murder mystery, and I'm super into it. So, these are the books that I have, the next 10 books that I have on my TBR for the month of May. I have a couple others after this. but I won't get into those just so I don't make this video super long. And that's going to be it for today's video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, with the occasional Sunday. Let me know down below what you're super excited to read for this month, and I will see you guys in our next video. Bye!